I do one thing. I teach guys how to play quarterback, and I teach guys how to be successful. They just say, hey, be here and do what you do. That to me is the perfect vehicle for someone like me. And I've done stuff like this before, but it's never been sustainable until Skulu, because Skulu understands that about me. Right when we start, we went right to work. It wasn't talk, we went right to work. And this is what I love doing. And I get a buzz having that guy one-on-one and teaching him to be a great quarterback.
And this is what I love doing. Welcome to Joe Sports Channel. Ladies and gentlemen, to all the wonderful and fantastic, beautiful Boonie believers, it is January 25th, 2025, and I hope all you beautiful, sexy pinata believers out there are having a fantastic evening on this Saturday day, folks. It's been 62 days, folks, since Joe Boonie last was on air with Tony Ambrosio, but I am back, and tonight's going to be a show to remember for days and for decades. We have the one Jim Barker smiling there, and we have Johnny Be Good. Folks, I just want to take this moment and say the reason why Joe Boonie hasn't been live on Joe Sports Channel, I am now the commentator for the London Nationals at the Western Fair Sports Center. So I want to thank all of the Nationals for giving me this opportunity. Further ado, ladies and gentlemen, my co-host Johnny Be Good.
Hey,
Barker, colleague of mine. Good evening, folks.
Good evening.
How you guys doing?
Doing great.
Johnny, how you doing? You're looking good with that 49ers.
Yeah, super. Just getting, I just got in the door. I was out for dinner with the family, so just getting back in the door and looking forward to a great show. I know lots to talk about, and the buzz in the air as I've been out making the rounds today is about the playoffs. And it's funny, it was not funny, but I was at a funeral service today, but again, as everybody's leaving, he's like, "Are you watching the game tomorrow? Are you watching the game tomorrow?" So no matter where I went, I just hearing that buzz about the games tomorrow. As we know, the championship getting one step closer to the Super Bowl.
Jim, how's it going, man? It's been a while. You're looking good. You're looking younger, actually.
Going very well. That's the key.
Yeah.
At my age, you need to start looking younger.
Listen, folks, we have two critical games. I first want to talk about the Washington Commanders, and I have the facts here. From a year ago, they were 14-13. This year, they're 12-5 with a rookie quarterback. What exactly went right for the Washington Commanders offseason, Jim?
Well, in my mind, it comes down to one key thing, and that was Josh Harris buying the team from Daniel Snyder. Good owners, and we've talked about it on the Joe Boonie show, good owners win, bad owners don't win. And when Josh Harris bought the team, he went out and he got himself at the general manager he wanted. He got Dan Quinn as his coach, who is a vibrant, dynamic, positive guy, very much like Dan Campbell. Players love him. He worked for years for Pete Carroll, who's coming back now to the Raiders at 73 years old, going to bring that energy back. And Dan Quinn has brought a lot to that club. But Josh Harris buying the team and basically changing everything in that organization in terms of, it might be what they serve for breakfast. It might be how they travel to get to the airport. It might be, how long they have to wait to get their rooms when they land. It's little things that make teams, the difference between teams being really good and not being really good. Right now, they have quality ownership. It's obvious. And again, I love watching their team play. Their team's playing like they have a group of veteran players. They have enough. Bobby Wagner on defense, he's going to keep that defense together. And then you bring this young Jaden Daniels in that everybody believes in. How can you not love the kid? He looks like he's 14 years old and just goes out and lights it up. So, again, I think it all starts at the top. I always believe that professional football professional basketball, any professional sports, you can start an ownership to know whether they're going to have a chance to succeed.
But it took them 1 year from going from 4 to 13 to 12-5. Just that 1 year span, and you bring in Dan Quinn is like a Dan Campbell, and that team just switched around, and they're actually a game away from the Super Bowl. So in your eyes, Jim, are the Commanders good enough to go into Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and beat Jalen Hurts that is playing injured with a braced knee and go in there?
Absolutely, no question. I picked them last week to win. Not to win. I picked them last week to lose to the Detroit Lions. When they went in and dominated that team in Detroit the way they did, I said to myself, this team can go all the way to the Super Bowl. So do they have a chance to beat this Philadelphia Eagles team? Absolutely. The Eagles play great defense. Vic Fangio's come in as a defensive coordinator, has done great things. They play great defense, but their offensive tackles have had some problems. They probably have the best offensive line in the league still. They have Saquon Barkley, without question, the best running back in the league. But Dan Quinn has one job, and that is make Jalen Hurts beat them. Make him get back, throw, and to beat them. Don't let Saquon Barkley be the guy that beats them. And again, Dan Quinn's a defensive guy. That's what he does. The last time I think they played, he held him to 27 yards rushing. So again, it's one of those things that I think I think the Commanders, I didn't think they had enough firepower going into the Detroit game. You know, they have McLaurin, they have Zach Ertz, but they don't have a whole lot of targets offensively. And they just went in. They don't make mistakes. They're playing Kansas City Chief football. Don't make mistakes. Don't beat yourself.
Okay, and I believe in Washington. I'm a big believer. And I said to everybody, they're going to go into Detroit, and they're going to go in, and they're going to beat Dan Campbell. And they did that. I know, Johnny, be good. You were going to say something. Go ahead, Johnny.
Yeah, no. Well, your original question was, what's happened from last year, and I agree with what Jim's saying. It's management, but it's not. It wasn't any one thing. Yes, they had drafted a great young quarterback who's been phenomenal, but they've just added, like I said, they added a tight end, they added a veteran in Hurts, they added Austin Eckler, so they added the running game. So they've added all these pieces. Now, when they got to the playoffs, they kind of came in. They weren't looking that great coming into the playoffs. But like I thought, Tampa almost beat them. It wasn't for Baker Mayfield fumbling. So going into Detroit, I thought Detroit, as long as they can lock down defensively, and I don't know what happened to Detroit. Defensively, you can't give up 31 points in the first half. They just could not seem to stop. But what I noticed, they didn't seem to have a pass rush. They didn't seem to get after the quarterback. So the one thing different coming now into this Eagles game, I think and Eagles have a great pass rush, so I think they're going to get after them. Again, thinking a rookie, but again, I think it's surprising to see Washington make it this far. Do they have a shot? Yeah, they certainly have a shot. It's going to be tough going into Philadelphia territory, and is Jalen Hurts? That's the question. Is he 100%? Well, I almost feel like every game he's not 100%, but somehow he shows up, and Again, what Jim said, the running game. So, again, it's going to be tough. I don't think you shut down Saquon Barkley, but maybe slow him down or try to contain. The same with Jalen Hurts. How do you try to contain them? So, like you said, Dan Quinn, is he going to be able to contain the Eagles? And these are the questions we're going to get answered tomorrow. It's definitely going to be an interesting game. And, Washington surprised or turned a lot of heads. But again, it's not just Jaden Daniels, not just having a great rookie quarterback. They got a lot of good pieces in there that they built over the years from all the draft picks they've had over the years. It's like it's finally coming into fruition now.
It's just so nice to see a Cinderella team finally go from the bottom and move up so fast. And I look at this team and I see a future for tomorrow. I see them being better and better. Like if they can go to the NFC Championship, and if they can actually go to the Super Bowl, and I'm not saying winning, but to be at this level, that's a huge accomplishment from a year span. Again, you go from 4 wins, 13 losses to 12 wins, 5 losses. Man, you're living life right there. You're living in Vegas, and I'm really, really impressed. But I think Philadelphia does win tomorrow in Philadelphia. They're just in Philly. The weather's supposed to be not the best, and I think Jalen Hurts is going to come up a little bit more than Daniels. That's just in my eyes. What about you guys?
Yeah, no rookie has won the Super Bowl. I don't think, is it? Or no rookies made it to the Super Bowl.
Never made it.
Never made it.
This is where they lose, is in the finals.
Brock Purdy was there.
I'm going to pick the Washington Commanders to beat them tomorrow. Again, it's interesting listening to you talk, John, because you're exactly right. Detroit, no pass rush, no this, no that. Well, you know why? Because the Washington Commanders are a good football team. They said, you're not going to get to our quarterback. You're not going to do this. Cliff Kingsbury's the offensive coordinator. He's a guy who is known for getting the ball out of the quarterback's hands. And he has them in an offensive scheme that suits that kid. And when you have somebody who doesn't turn the ball over the way he does, doesn't think he has to win it with every play, that's the problem with young quarterbacks. They think this is on me. And I don't believe he has that feeling at all. And that's been a lot of that is coaching and Dan Quinn and his ability with this young player to get him to understand, just do your thing and good things are going to happen for us. So again, I give them a ton of credit for that game in Detroit. And Detroit had the bye week going in. They had the home crowd. Everything was going in their direction. And Washington went in and smacked them. I mean, they smacked them. They beat them good. It wasn't like it was a lucky. It was like they physically took it to them.
They kept beating him deep. Like they kept getting 20, 30, 40. Like they kept getting big chunk plays. And I kept thinking, boy, like where's this Lions defense? They just didn't seem to have an answer. Like every time Stafford retaliated and got the touchdown, they just couldn't have. They had no answer to stop the big plays.
Yeah. It was interesting, but I think you have to give the Commanders credit for that. They're getting 6.5 in Philadelphia. Now, Philadelphia, again, they're a team that, Jalen Hurts is he's got a bad head. He's got a soft noggin. And if he's having to carry the ball to get Saquon Barkley some holes, they're going to hit him differently. I tell you what, it's going to be a physical. You watch every time that guy gets hit, the way they tackle him. There's going to be, it's not going to be like any respect. They're going after him.
It's a division rival. They're going to hit him hard.
It's going to be that to me is the thing of the game is how they stop the run game. Do they bring a guy down and say, okay, Jalen, AJ Brown, get the ball to him, and he should get it to him, but he hasn't been able to when on a consistent basis.
Right.
He's got those great receivers. He just hasn't been able to do that. And again, I think Dan Quinn says, if he beats us, then if Jalen Hurts beats us, Jalen Hurts beats us. But we're not going to let the other guy, Saquon, beat us. And I'll tell you this, Joe, whoever wins this game, I love their chances in the Super Bowl because I think the Super Bowl is happening tomorrow night when Kansas City plays the Bills. That's the two best teams.
You just took the words exactly out of my mouth. I think that is a Super Bowl preview tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on CBS.
That's the game that's going to drain it's going to be just like that Detroit Minnesota game was the last game of the year. Everybody built it up to what it was. It was the greatest regular season game in history. It was it lived up to its hype. But Minnesota came out of that game, and I picked them to lose to the Rams because of how physical and how that game mentally took a lot out of them. Now, the one difference in the Super Bowl is they have that week in between. And if Kansas City wins, they're such a veteran team and that kind of thing. Maybe it won't affect them. But I do believe that game tomorrow will affect whatever team that wins. And that's going to give whichever team wins that Philadelphia-Washington game, I believe, a bit of an edge going into the Super Bowl.
Listen, let's not use the word if against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know if you guys know. You probably know, Jim. Josh Allen is 0-3 against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. And I have stats for here. Patrick Mahomes'
At
quarterback,
this point,
Josh Allen, is 90.4. Total passing yard is 2,208. Passing TDs, 12, 9 interceptions. For Josh Allen, on the other hand, has a 100.2 rating. Total passing yards is 2,281. TDs are a little bit better, 17 and 4 interceptions. So my question to you, Jim, is this the best version of Josh Allen? And can the Buffalo Bills finally go into Arrowhead and beat the Kansas City Chiefs and Mahomes?
I believe they can. I think it. Here's one thing about Buffalo. It doesn't matter what the weather is. If it's snowing, they feel like they're at home. It won't phase that team one bit if the weather's bad in Kansas City. Again, Patrick Mahomes has won games. He does what Patrick Mahomes does. If he's got the ball at the end of the game in a tie or they need one score, they're going to win. They just are. You know that. But if they can keep them from that, I think Josh Allen is playing the best football he's ever played right now. He's grown so much. There was a play last week when he got tackled around the 4-yard line, kind of spun around, and he had James Cook behind him, and I thought he was going to pitch it to him. And the old Josh Allen would have, because that Josh Allen felt like, I got to make a play every time or we're not going to win. He knows now, I'm good enough. I'll come back the next play and do something miraculous and we'll score. He knows he's at that point, kind of where Mahomes is at. Mahomes doesn't press it because he knows, just give me another snap and next time I'll make it happen. That's the key to being a great quarterback. When he did that, I turned to the person I was watching the game with, and I said, that play shows how far that kid's come. And again, I think Buffalo, I don't know that they're as good a team, but I believe they are matched well to beat this Kansas City team. Now, can they turn it over? No. Kansas City's a perfect team. They haven't turned the ball over in the entire playoffs. They don't make mistakes. They have to limit Travis Kelce, force them to throw the ball to the wideouts, and then say, okay, can Hunt and Pacheco's been out, he'll be back, but can those guys beat us on the ground if we're able to take Kelce out? That's where I think there's a big problem. Cole Bishop is going to be stepping in, for the Taylor Rapp.
Taylor Rapp,
Key player, because that's who lines up in any kind of man coverage or double coverage. That strong safety is who takes the tight end away. So now that's going to be Cole Bishop, not Taylor Rapp. And I think that hurts them. They need to find a way to take Travis Kelce out of the game. He's the guy that when they need to have a play, Mahomes finds a way to get him the ball. And he just always seems to be open. They need to be cognizant of that and say, you know what? You might beat us with Shakir, and he's having a great year. You might beat us with Amari Cooper, but you're not going to beat, not Amari Cooper. Who's there? Who's the guy, the Chiefs guys?
You're talking about
those wide receivers. I can't even think of their names.
Oh, the speedy guy.
No, DeAndre Hopkins.
Oh, Hopkins, yeah.
They got Hopkins, but he has.
And they got Juju Smith-Schuster too. They got Juju.
And Juju. Okay, those guys, they have to get them involved but they haven't been the ones do it. It's always Travis Kelce. So take away Kelce and make them do it to the other guys. And I just think that the edge rushers, Von Miller, the Buffalo edge rushers are good.
They're very good.
And they're going up against, they've moved Tooney out to tackle, and they got Juwan Taylor, who's the most penalized tackle in the league, who does nothing but struggle on the right side. I think those edges are weak for Kansas City. And now if you bring pressure up from the edge and now force Mahomes up into the middle where they have Ed Oliver, who I think is playing as well as any interior D lineman in the league, I think they have a great chance to really create problems for Mahomes. So again, I look at this game. I'm picking Buffalo, obviously. I just think
I can't believe it because you told me so many times that I will never go against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs.
And you know what?
Bet against him. That's your words, man.
I'm not betting money. I never bet money, and so I can do. I would feel terrible if I bet against Patrick Mahomes and my money went down. So that's why I'm not betting. But I am taking the Buffalo Bills. I want them so bad to be able to take that step. And I look at their team in this game, and I just think they have a real shot.
Listen, I think it's going to be an incredible game, but I think, you're in Arrowhead. The fans are there. You got people going crazy. Patrick Mahomes, we all know he's 3-0 against Josh Allen. He's like Tom Brady against Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning could never go into Foxborough and beat Tom Brady. I see the edge with Kansas City. I look at the more experienced team. I look at the more experienced quarterback, and I really, really believe the only way the Buffalo Bills are going to go into Arrowhead, they got to play 4 quarters, 15 minutes, and it has to be absolutely perfect. There can't be turnovers, and there has to be rush on both sides, from the offense and defense. Johnny, there's something going on with your background. Anyways, I really, really believe it's going to be an incredible game, but I think Kansas City wins by 3+. I want to see a 3 repeat. I want to see Taylor Swift. I want to see that again in the Super Bowl. I love that, I enjoy that, man.
You're killing me, Joe. You're killing me.
Listen, I was at the Rogers Center a few weeks ago, and she was down there, and you saw the Taylor Swift. You saw Prime Minister Trudeau. You saw so many things, and it's just so beautiful. A girl like this comes to Toronto, and people actually show respect for her because she's absolutely a phenomenal talent singer. And I hope I see Taylor Swift back at the Super Bowl.
And because of that, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to beat the Buffalo Bills.
Probably.
Come on, man.
Probably. No, just put.
That's what happened last year.
We'll see. 3 repeat, Kansas City, and maybe a 4 repeat after that.
Again, they're the perfect team. They don't make mistakes. Their coach gets it. Their players get it. They do everything about winning this game and the next game. That's what their season's about. And again,
I'm picking 24.
You're not stupid to pick them, I'll tell you that.
I'm picking 24-21 the final.
24-21.
Yeah.
That's a good final. I could see that 24-21 Buffalo.
Yeah, I can see 24-21 easily Kansas City. You want to do a bet? You want to make a bet?
No.
We'll do a dinner bet. Bet.
That's fine.
Okay, Johnny.
It does bother me. It does bother me that I'm picking against Patrick Mahomes, because I do believe at the end of the game, if it's close and he gets the ball, they're going to win. They're going to find a way. He's going to find a way. He's magic that way. I mean, he's going to, and I think there's a question about Matt Milano. Is he going to be healthy? He didn't finish the game the other day. If the Bills get some injuries early, it's going to be a problem for them. I think, I'm not going to say they have to be perfect, Joe, but they have to be as close to perfect as they can be. And if they maybe match Kansas City, so Kansas City turns it over, they could maybe turn it over once. They can't lose that battle. They can't lose a turnover battle. They cannot lose it. And the same thing with penalties. They can't lose that battle.
We got a Booney Believer question, and it says, what do you believe is the key to Allen's success against Mahomes? Is it a defense adjustment or a change in a game plan, or something about his individual performance? That's a really good question.
Is what now?
Is it a individual performance
for on stopping Mahomes for Buffalo? Yeah, it's like I said, it's getting Von Miller off the edge, getting the 2 edge guys to penetrate against those tackles, Tooney and I can't even think of the other guy's name, Dewan Taylor. He's the most penalized guy in the league, and he doesn't have great feet. And if you spread them out a little bit, they're not great in space. And you create them having to have space, and you force Mahomes up to where Ed Oliver is, because Ed Oliver, I think, is as good as there is in the league. And just don't allow him to get out on the edge where he wants to go. I think that edge pressure, and then the second thing is finding a way to take Travis Kelce away. And again, without the safety, that hurts. With Rapp being hurt, can Cole Bishop step up and do that. So those are the two things I think they have to do. If they do those two things, again, is Isaiah Pacheco going to beat them? I don't believe that. I just, Hunt, is he going to believe? I don't believe those guys are going to beat them. But they've got to keep Mahomes pressured, and that's the way they do it. Von Miller and whoever plays on the other side, Jerome, what's his name, Rousseau, like that. Those two guys have to be able to beat those tackles, pressure, force him up into Ed Oliver, and let Ed Oliver do his thing. Because if people watch the game, you watch Ed Oliver, that guy is playing that position as well as anybody in football right now.
Johnny?
Yeah, no, I love everything Jim's saying there, and I'm agreeing. The one thing that stands out for me is I love Steve Spagnuolo, the Chiefs defensive coordinator. He knows how to handle. I mean, I think at this point we've watched Mahomes the last 2 years win, and tough last year, especially Super Bowl beating my 49ers again. But again, Steve Spagnuolo, he always seems to have an answer or a plan for the offense. So I think both offenses between Allen and Mahomes are going to be great. So it's going to come down to the defense. And with Buffalo a little bit banged up, the Chiefs have been playing a great defense. Even on their safeties have been playing strong. So I have to say the edge, but I'm still going to pick the Bills. I'm picking the Bills 34-31. But again, I think it's because we're tired of seeing the Chiefs win. We want to see somebody. We've seen Buffalo. We've seen Allen mature. And like Jim said, last week too, I thought, oh no, he's turned around. He was going to throw that ball away. And it's just like, nope, he held it, right? So it's just that moment. I thought the same thing. He was going to throw it away and fumble it, or something's going to happen to the goal line. But Buffalo, again, the maturity of Allen, right? And the same Mahomes, the maturity. They have the vet. So now you got two veteran offenses going head to head. So to me, the key is which defense is going to step up and make the plays. But again, I mean, I'm giving the edge to Steve Spagnuolo and the Chiefs. They just, again, at home, they don't seem to lose. Mahomes seems to be magic. And the thing we haven't talked about yet, and wanted to get Jim's opinion in, I keep hearing over and over, the Chiefs seem to have the referees in their pockets. So I'm not sure what we think about that. The Chiefs always seem to get the edge in calls, and even listening to Tom Brady and Troy Aikman saying, boy, some of the calls that Mahomes gets.
I thought last week was bad. I really do. I thought there were calls that were made and not made that should have been made and not made. I thought it was a very inconsistent performance. And Mahomes gets a little bit more of the and it's that way in any league. I mean, in the CFL, when Flutie was here, he would get all those same calls. They're going to protect the guys who, I mean, Mahomes makes everybody a lot of money, including the referees. They're going to protect him. But I think they're going to protect Josh Allen too. The only difference is Josh Allen, he's just more physical in everything he does. Yeah. So that's
a big boy.
It's much harder to judge late hits on a guy like Josh Allen than it is to judge late hits on Patrick Mahomes. So like I say, I think Mahomes is coddled a bit by the officials. If you're close to him, if you're breathing on him heavy, they're throwing a flag on you, especially early. I have a feeling that stuff was looked at and they're going to come in the game. You just watch early. If there's a play where you go, wow, that could have been a late hit, and they don't call it, it's because of the meetings their referees had looking at the film, and they said, you know what, we can't coddle him. We're in the finals. Yeah. We're not gonna do that. And because I felt twice that he got calls that other quarterbacks would not have gotten, and he deserves that during the regular season. This time of the year, nobody deserves that. This time of the year, everybody's the same.
The ones I always find that are tough are the helmet to helmet. I mean, if you see he's going and then the guys are coming and all of a sudden he takes a slide and then boom, like there was it last week, they kind of came in, the both defenders trying to capture him. And then he went for the slide, and it's hard to stop the momentum when he's going into the slide.
Well, the first one I felt like he hit him on the side here, and secondarily went up and may have hit him in the head. But it was like Mahomes gave himself up late, and it just, again, it's all judgment. And again, if this was the first game of the year, I'd have had no problem with those calls. But in the playoffs, I do have a problem with those calls. I think that you have to let these guys play and let the players decide the game. And
exactly.
And I think that's what the NFL wants. The NFL does not want this game to come down to some call that was made by a referee.
Don't you remember a couple years ago in Philadelphia, that horse calling or that pull to the back, 15 yards, and then Kansas City won the Super Bowl just from that penalty? Do you remember that?
It wasn't a
hold. It was literally just like inches off.
And there was one of those last week, one of those horse collars that was not a horse collar. I mean, it wasn't even close. And that's one of the things in the CFL we have that's better is they can change that. If they call a horse collar and see it's not, that really, because a lot of times it looks like it, because when you grab on the back of the shoulder pad and pull, he jerks back. So you can't tell whether that's a shoulder pad that he has or the jersey or the collar that he has. And so, but on film you can. And in the CFL, the referee can go back and correct that and make it right. The NFL hasn't caught up yet, but I think they will. I think they will change that, and they'll get to a point where when there's an egregious mistake like that made, that they'll be able to overturn it.
I want to ask you guys one more question because we're running on time. If Travis Kelce wins the Super Bowl, is it a call career? Is it over, or does he come back for at least another year?
I think he comes back.
Yeah.
Again, it's one of those things that the guy's he's living every guy's dream life, He's dating Taylor Swift, who comes to all of his games. He goes on the road with her. Come on, the guy's a tight end. He was Zach Caleros. He was his roommate at Cincinnati. They were, so it's, I don't know. It's an interesting thing. I don't think he will retire, especially if they win. If they win, I think he's going to want to come back for 4.
Or repeat.
Plus, he and Mahomes are tight. I think that they'll play it together for a while. I mean, you got to remember those two guys are making a boatload of money right now and loving it. I mean, you win every week. It's hard to leave that.
Yeah, it's kind of like Brady and Gronkowski, right? I mean, they said the two have a great relationship. They're playing well.
Yep.
I mean, even I think when Gronk said, "Okay, that's it, I'm retiring," and then Brady pulled him back. Oh, come on, one more year.
Well, that's because Brady got told he was done and had to go to Tampa, and then he got Gronkowski to go to Tampa. It was just not the same. This won't be the same. If Mahomes was to go to San Francisco, like when Joe Montana went to San Francisco, I went to Kansas City. When he went at the end of his career. And it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. That's why Mahomes will retire a Chief. If he doesn't retire a Chief, nobody will remember him by anything but a Chief.
Yeah.
And I believe as long as he's there, Travis will stay there.
That's what we said about Brady, and that's what we said about Rodgers. That's what we said about so many clutch quarterbacks. The only man I think
where's Rodgers going
was don't talk about my Aaron Rodgers, okay? Another story, another day. But Ben Roethlisberger, I think, was the only quarterback out of 5 that actually got drafted to Pittsburgh and finished his career. And I love that quarterbacks do that. And unfortunately, Big Ben left on a bad note. I had Matt Canada. That was terrible. Defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, wrecked that team. And that was a bad note because Big Ben Roethlisberger, I think, deserved more initiative in Pittsburgh than he is. Because, look, they have no quarterback. They have no quarterback since he's gone. And it sucks, right? Because Pittsburgh's about winning. They're about defense, championship. And Cam Hayworth was the only guy this year, that actually kept that team going. So,
and Tom Brady's the only great quarterback that when he was told to leave, that when his time was up with the team, that he went somewhere and actually won again. And it was almost to say, you know what? I'm not like these. When Montana was let go by San Francisco, he was done. Yeah. You could put a fork in him. He was done. Yeah. That's normally the way it is. Brady, New England thought he was done. He still had another year, obviously, because they won a Super Bowl with him. So, and that's what it's all about, is winning Super Bowls.
Is Matthew Stafford finished? There's rumors that the speculation going around that Matthew Stafford is going to write a nice little paragraph to the LA Rams and the NFL organization that he's going to retire. Do you see Stafford coming back for a year, or you call it a career ending?
No, I think he'll be back. I mean, again, same thing. I think he'll be back. I think he loves McVay. It's a good system for him. Again, once these guys leave, there's no coming back. You're done. And there's only so many TV jobs out there, and that's where they all want to end up going to. But there's only so many of them, and I just don't see Matthew Stafford leaving yet. What is he? 34?
36.
36. Yeah, I think he'll at 38 sounds like a good time. I think he'll stay till then.
30 years old. Okay. So you're picking
the Rams do need to draft a QB though.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about that. They need somebody there.
Johnny,
I'm picking underdogs.
Johnny, who you picking? You're picking Buffalo. What's the score?
Yeah, I'm going against my gut. I mean, I know the Chiefs at home, and they're probably going to be their third and repeat. But I just feel it's Buffalo's time. I think it's one of those. We're tired of seeing the Chiefs winning, but yeah, I'm going to go with Buffalo. I think that they've come a long way. They've had a great season. Nobody expected them to be here, kind of like the Commanders, right? But I said 34-31. It's going to be a field goal. It's going to come down. It's going to be a tight game. 34-31 Bills over the Chiefs.
Barker, Jim?
I'll go 28-24 the Bills over the Chiefs. And then I'll go the Commanders. I'll go the Commanders 24-17 over Philadelphia.
Okay. What about you, John? Are you picking Washington or Philly?
Got to go with Philly. I like them at home. Again, Saquon is going to be tough to, no matter what defense or what scheme, I think he's still going to be tough. They may be able to slow him down. Same with Hurts and with all the weapons they got. I just like Philly. I'll say 34-23.
Okay. Well, it's always a pleasure, Jim. I always enjoy your company, and I always enjoy you barking on the show. And it's always interesting. I will have you back after the Super Bowl. You'll be my first guy back. I wish you nothing but best and good luck to your teams.
And you guys stay after your hockey club.
I will. Thank you so much. Take care and say hi to the family.
That sounds good. Thank you.
Take care, Jim. No problem. Have a good day. Jim
All
Barker.
right. Thanks, Jim.
Incredible individual. I enjoy just his performance coming on here, giving the energy. It's incredible that you have these people that still come on the Joe Booney Show, the Joe Sports Channel. And, I wrote him a text last night. I called him. He answered. And this is Jim Barker, works for TSN. I'm nobody compared to Jim Barker. He was a general manager. He was the coach of the year in 2010 for the Argonauts. And for him to answer my my call, that is a blessing. So I want to thank Jim Barker for that. Folks, I have a second half of a show, and it's not part of sports. It is something totally different. And there's a man that is sitting over there. And it's been a tough little while. I don't know if you want to bring yourself and you can come and talk about it. But we all know this very good friend of mine that has been going through some problems the last 3 months. So I'm going to bring him in, and then he's going to talk the talk. This has nothing to do with sports, but I told him he's more than welcome to come on the Joe Sports Channel and address this to the Booney believers and anyone out there that is dealing with this. This is a national emergency for what he's going through. So you can come in. We all know who it's going to be. Go ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know a good friend of mine, a good colleague, Mr. John Laurinaitis from Lubbock, Texas. John, I know you've been through last little while a tough time, and you want to come in here and address something. I don't know what you're going to say, so take over the show, man, and talk the talk and walk the walk. And good luck, my friend. And that's Johnny right there beside you.
All right. How do you doing, John?
Doing okay, doing okay. I thought we were going to talk about the tough times with the Steelers. Good. They made the playoffs. Tough way to finish the season, but
Yeah, it was.
I think they'll be back better, stronger. They'll rebuild and keep adding more pieces. So I think they'll be back again to challenge the Ravens in that division and the Bengals.
Yeah, I think so too. It was kind of an up and down season. They had that momentum, and it looked like they were going to do well, and they just
It's the tail end of the year.
tail end of the year when you have to win, and they didn't do it, and for whatever reason.
Hey, kudos to you. You team made the playoffs. Mine faded in the wind after a Super Bowl run.
They made the year before they got one game too, but nothing happened. But I mean, I don't know. They'll have to do something on the offseason. They got to get something going.
Well, that's always
you got to look at the quarterback. They're going to have to look at the quarterbacks again, and especially Russell Wilson, and say, well, is this the right guy to get for us? Fields played pretty darn good at that.
I still like Justin Fields myself. That's me.
I was kind of hoping they would have thrown him in one of those games that they.
Well, I think Fields is being younger, so maybe he'll have the longevity. Wilson, we're not sure how many more years has he got left to play, right? So
I don't know, but so it was up and down, and it was disappointing, but whatever. That's football. I mean, look at your team too. You had your problems. And,
defense.
Yeah, sometimes it comes down to that. So
nice to see we got Robert Saleh back from the Jets, though.
Yeah, there you go. But anyway, besides the sports, I was just wanted to get into it. It's a topic that's, I don't know, people don't hear about too much, but it goes on. What do I want to call it? Let's see. Okay. Well, it's a type of theft that's out there, and it's like a cyber theft. You got these hackers out there, and they hack, and they get involved. They sit behind you don't know who they are, but all they are is just high-tech thieves. They get into your computers or try to get your banking information, or they get into your cell phone and try to weasel out what they can out of you, try to steal out of your bank account, or et cetera, credit cards, you name it. And it's becoming rampant. And we hear a lot about in Russia and these countries that people do that. That's how they make their living, I guess. They steal off of hardworking people all around the world. They pick on everybody, and it's becoming a big problem. And I've had it myself. Experienced. Haven't talked about it too much with anybody, but I've been experiencing some of this myself the last 2-3 months. And to protect yourself, it's difficult. The banks can do so much, but they can, what I mean. But I just it's just a real depressing situation when you become under attack from somebody that's you don't know who it is. They're just sitting in a room somewhere behind a computer screen trying to take money out of you, basically out of your accounts, or somehow get you for something, right? It's all about money, but it's a theft. I don't care. Theft is theft, and I think these people are. I can't see much lower people on the earth except maybe a sex offender. They're in the same category as far as I'm concerned. They're lower than snake shit, if you ask me. They really are, and it's terrible. And people, we know, good friend of Joe Booney here out in BC, Tino, and he's had some similar issues, and he did actually get taken for quite a large sum of money, from what I've heard. And it's and at the time of his life when he wanted to slow down his business, he has to work 3 times as hard now just to make up for what he lost. It's just not right. And this stuff's going on, and it's rampant. And again, I don't know. These people have no conscience because they sit behind closed doors. You don't know who they are. I'd rather have someone break into my house. At least I'd have a chance to take the big Louisville Slugger to them and break their neck if I had to. You know what I mean? But these people are gutless, and they're the biggest cowards I've ever can imagine, because to do that to people and put them under duress and then cause people to have to, fight them with softwares and stuff. There's another story. These software companies are cashing in on this whole epidemic, and these softwares are ridiculously expensive. A lot of them don't even work. A lot of them don't even do the job and the money is incredible of these software too. And I've experienced this personally. And you're throwing money to try and ensure yourself to not lose money. At the same time, it's costing you one way or the other. So I just want to bring this out. And it's a big thing right now, and it's happening. We know other people. I think even I said Tino out in British Columbia. I even think Ing got even a little bit of a ripoff. Not a lot, but enough. You know what I mean? It's money's money. We all work hard for our money, no matter who we are. We just we just want to have our families and do our thing and not worry about all this crap.
Well, you had an incident last night. It was crazy. Last night, me and John Leonardo went for coffee, and his phone just goes berserk. It locks its screen, and his password. He had a number that we memorized. I actually wrote it down.
Yeah, I had a pass number.
And it wouldn't. So I called Apple, and they said they couldn't do anything. This man spent $758 on a 2-minute software to get his phone back inactive. You telling me that's no scam?
Yeah, I mean, the money is ridiculous. Like it takes fractions of a minute to put these things in and get when they do work, they will work. The ones that work usually are the high end ones. And it's just incredible what they charge, and they're already set up, and it's just like you install them, and in a few minutes back to normal. Well, I don't know how many people on this earth can make $500 for 2 minutes work. A good lawyer is $500 an hour, but that's a good lawyer. But I mean, I just don't get it. It really,
it's the modern world we're in. We're under attack.
It's sickening, and again, because these people are just. Obviously, they don't care. They don't have a conscience. They're only about the money, and because it's like there's no contact. They don't know who they're dealing with. To them, that's okay, I guess. I can't see it. I don't know. We were brought up better than that. All of us right now on the screen right now. We were brought up to believe, thou shalt not steal.
Exactly.
I mean, it's theft, but it's also duress. It's hard on you, especially if you're having to fight these guys. So I've gone through this personally. I haven't talked about it too much, but Joe said I could get a little bit on after the show just as a platform to just, I don't know. It's not like I can change things out there, but I don't know what's gonna, what to think of it. But it's a major problem right now, and Joe's had known other people too, and even his family that have had issues.
Yeah, I've had it myself personally, but I've been lucky because I have some software that is worth thousands and thousands of dollars that I pay every couple of years. I have a jailbreak too, so I've been very fortunate. But this man's a hard worker, from Lubbock, Texas. A family of 3, and for a person to take $758 American for a 2-minute software to come back and his phone to be reactive, I think that's a national emergency from your end. I think it's ridiculous.
Another thing just to throw in there now, it's
a joke. It feels like a joke, right?
Yeah, it's a bad joke though. It's not a ha-ha joke. That's
not a funny joke.
Maybe these assholes, sorry, but that's what they are, that do this stuff, think it's they get a kick out of it maybe somehow. I don't know how they can do it. I just, to me, it's just, there's nothing in there. It's just they're after the money. They have no conscience. And this is what they do. So, and then they put people under the gun, and they have to try their best to try and figure out how to kind of insure themselves against it. But it's going to be very expensive, very daunting, and half of this software doesn't even work either. That's another thing about it. Some of it's just garbage. Okay. And it doesn't.
Well, that's the challenge.
It might work for a week or something like that, or a few days on your equipment, and then next thing you know, it seems like something happens again, and it's just like, well, that was no good. So there's no consistency to it, a lot of it too. So that's the software business. It should be brought to attention, people that, of this also, because it's also almost a scam in itself. I mean, it shouldn't cost that kind of money. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
It's a joke.
It's no,
Like it's funny,
there's
but
there's no reality to it at all in today's society.
Yeah.
I can't compare it to anything else.
what are you gonna say, Johnny?
I mean,
No, I was just going to say it's the electronic world that we live in. It's changing so fast and rapidly daily. So, as much as they build these softwares to combat this, I mean, by the time they built the software, there's something new. There's a new virus. There's new something new. So, they can't build it fast enough, right? And this is where sometimes you almost need to buy like a membership, I guess, somewhere. But like you said, it gets expensive. It gets costly because, like I said, we're being attacked on all different levels electronically, whether it's your data, it's your phone, we're constantly under attack. And so, yeah, you got to be careful. And, this is where you got to be cautious.
yeah, it's I don't know. And then, I just had my experiences. I know Joe had some experience. I know one of his cousins, I think, got a couple of his cousins he knows got some similar situations. And it makes you sick because that's money you can use for other purposes. It's ridiculous it's like
what have you spent? About what, $5,000? $6,000?
it's been unreal, really.
$6,000
5 or 6,000
American.
maybe between the anti-hacking stuff and then some of this other crap for the cell phone. But another thing I wanted to bring up too, while we're on the subject of technology, what's the word? Refurbished equipment. You can buy a lot of equipment on, say, some of these big websites. I'm not going to mention the names. I should, but I'm not going to. But we know all these companies, and they ship everywhere. And a lot of times the shipping's free, whether it's a big, a big ticket item. They sell computer screens and monitors. They sell cell phones. They sell gaming platforms. You name it, they sell it, right? But they sell other stuff too. I mean, they're not just that. They sell just general consumer goods. But electronics, they have a lot of it is refurbished. You really don't know how good that stuff is, and I've had issues with that. I recently sent a cell phone back and did get my money back for that. That was a bit of a win because the thing was just an absolute piece of garbage. It didn't do anything but just attract problems. It was almost like an entity in itself. Thank goodness I could send it back, and I got my refund on that one. It was a credit card buy. I got back on the credit card. That was a win. Well, one of the few wins I've had. That was the only one. This latest phone, it's refurbished. It's an iPhone. Apple. All my previous phones were always Androids, and usually I had pretty good luck. But even the last Android phone I had, it got hacked. So it was it worked good for years, and then I never had this experience with being under attack. You feel it. Well, you are definitely under attack, but you can't and be under one of these situations happen with these hacker people. And I mean, I don't know what. You don't really know where they're at, where they're out of, and where they're doing it. But it's just brutal. But I mean, this isn't the situation with everybody. A lot of people are, but what's that all about? Well, I never had a problem. Well, it can happen. It can happen. So I'm just saying, it is. It's something that happens. And, I don't know, but it's a sickening situation that people are not. Well, I don't know. They're desperate for money, but they have the wherewithal. They can do this stuff, and then they screw people to death on it. It really is. It is.
I was just going to see what the refurbished.
The refurbished stuff, yeah. And this latest phone was also refurbished. So this would happen the other day. I figure it's the last chance because I probably paid for the phone. At least paid for it if I had bought it brand new from a company.
It does it again. What do you do with the phone?
Well, I could probably get a new phone through a plan, but I'll be paying monthly. But I mean, that's the only way, to get a new phone and maybe upgrade your plan, maybe. But I always liked my plan because it was just a very basic plan. It just had, North America wide calling and, whatever. And then I just use it as a phone mostly. The problem is now they're like computers, so they have all the guts of a computer and a cell phone now. And again, if they can hack a laptop, they can hack a cell phone, I guess. So
Again, it's like anything, though. It's how well do you know the customer? How well do you know the business you like and trust? Like I've got a buddy of mine. He's got a great business downtown. I trust him. He has
Yeah.
refurbished stuff, so
Yeah.
he's selling equipment, and I know whatever he's selling is good. It's credible. So
Right.
again, like you said, if you're buying online from some random person you don't know, then
Well,
you don't know what you're getting. You don't know.
yeah, but it wasn't from random. It was from a big company that they sell, you know,
Yeah.
I shouldn't, I just don't want to open myself up to litigation, or I'd give you the name right away.
No, I know.
It's one of the
Where'd you
biggest,
guys go?
one of the biggest outfits around.
I'm just showing you a beautiful, nice Italian face. I want to look.
But,
Okay.
Anyway, I just wanted to get in here. Joe gave me a
Yeah.
platform. I just wanted to put it out there that anybody that's in this situation, I feel for them, or that's gone through this kind of stuff, because I don't know, it's a different kind of,
It's a weird situation.
you feel really strange about the whole thing, because it's a stranger somewhere that's just, for some reason, they picked on a certain individual who they don't even know who they are really, but
Exactly. You're just a name on a page. So everything comes
it's a
back
code,
to
it's a number or a code on a computer, and
that's it. So you're not a person. You're not a face, right?
no,
So everything
like
comes
there's
back
like
to
a number or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess that's the way to
Listen.
put it. But people say you're only a number. Well, in this case, yeah, I guess that's how they get around it in their head, that it's okay to rip people off.
Well, everything comes back to like and respect. It's how we treat each other. So as we wrap up the show, let's treat each other with respect. Let's treat each other right, and let's make this world a better place.
Yeah,
I do want to take this moment too and just recognize that who this man is and how I met John Laurinaitis many years ago. At the age of 13, he had some relatives in Hamilton. He used to play Xbox with an amazing nephew named Alex, and we got to know this man. And I've been knowing you for quite some time. Yeah. And used to babysit me when you used to come down from Texas to Canada. My parents used to go out, so we've been through the thick and thin. And you've always had my support from day in and day out. And no matter what I was wrong, you would always give me good advice. And I just appreciate the last couple of weeks that you've been coming down to the London Nationals games at the Western Fair Sports Center. You've been helping me, photographer.
Yeah, really. It's
really
enjoyable. It's good hockey, and working with John there. You guys have been really good. You're doing a great job with that show.
Yeah, we love doing that Wednesday nights. So for those that are watching still, Wednesday nights we're at the Western Fair Sports Center. You can tune on through the flow of the London Nationals hockey.
It's the best thing that I could ever imagine.
I never really used to follow hockey that much. I watched a bit of NHL now. Just watching these young guys play, and with heart, is something else. So
young 15, 16, 17-year-old up and coming NHL prospects.
Some of them are pretty big guys.
Well, they're moving up to the Knights and to the NHL.
Yeah, and I mean, someday some of them will get there. They'll
right.
have to move up the ranks. But yeah, there's some good prospects.
Brandon Prost used to be there.
Yeah, the coach himself. Yeah,
that's right. That's why he's giving back to the team now.
He is, and he's a good guy. So I mean, I just all this negativity just it really gets you down. Is all I'm going to say about that.
Positive energy. That's what I said. We need a world of more positive energy.
Yeah, I mean,
good people.
It's unfortunate that it's such a broken world, and this is just one more crappy aspect to it. I'll just throw it out there that way.
Yeah. So I always say, surround yourself with good people. Good things will happen. But there's always going to be negative people, negative energy.
No, I know that. I'm just saying these people are negative, but I mean, you don't know them personally. So
nope, they don't care about you. They don't care nothing about you.
No,
they're stealing what they can from you.
It's just, exactly. So I mean, it's too bad. It's just, I just feel for anybody that's been under this kind of duress from these kind of things.
Yeah. Or their heart goes out to them. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because it's just it's not needed really, but they think it's great because they're just ripping you off, and that's how they make their living.
Well, I said if you want a good tech store downtown, YB Tech there on Richmond Street, so I said I know him personally, good buddy of mine, and whoa, look at that! There's
I do want to take this moment.
You're going to go back in time. Let's see this video for the newcomers watching.
What was it called, John? YB Tech,
YB Tech. It's on Richmond near Central. Again, if you want a good refurbished store, computer. They have new stuff too. So newer refurbished cell phones, computers, whatever you need, monitors.
Yeah, good. That's a good shout out for your friend too.
Let's just take this moment and
Oh,
watch.
yeah.
This is how the Joe
Who's
Booney
that
all
young
goes.
Joe Booney? Look at that.
Here we go.
To Joe Sports Channel. You can follow me on Joe the Fighting Jim
I thought you'd seen this,
Instagram.
John. I don't
You
know.
can follow me on Taker Devil on hashtag Joe Sports Channel. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start talking, we're going to let bit music and we're going to start the show.
That's Joe in your bedroom. That's when you first started in your bedroom.
Let's watch this.
Let's go,
You
baby.
get the Texas flag back there.
And you have my mind. I gotta be that time. I've been mighty American. Fight to touch.
This is the moment, folks.
American.
Let's keep this a family show.
Little spiel on Hulk Hogan.
Oh, the Hulk Hogan. There we go.
You know, all these used to come in with the singer, see the Python.
What song were you playing?
Oh my God, guys.
Thomas Long back to Barrington. You never seen this, John?
I thought Joe was going to rip his shirt off.
Come on, John. Here. Oh my God. One day American. Fight for right side, tearing it.
You didn't know the word.
The early days of Joe Sports Channel.
That's enough.
That's enough.
That's
Yeah.
enough.
That's almost.
That's the early days of Joe Sports Channel. When
That
I
was the
first get
beginning.
going.
Wasn't really much sports, but it
When,
was some.
when King Goose came up and speaking on Rogers Flow, that's one of the reasons he was talking how Joe Booney was crazy, how he started from, breaking laptops, ripping T-shirts, and destroying, electronics to where we are today. It's a big accomplishment.
It's a big change.
Not to put that out there. But
That's-
Johnny, let's do something tomorrow with John still down in Texas, down in Canada. Let's watch a football game or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening tomorrow.
That's up to you guys. I'm not-
But
I'm not sure what's going on.
but yeah, if you guys are gonna head out somewhere or watch the game somewhere, let me know.
I'll take you over a beer. I'll buy you a beer.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm not saying no.
All right,
All
Okay.
right, John.
Take care.
we're still live, so let's wrap things up on the show.
Yeah, we're just gonna say goodbye, but
We'll see you guys on Wednesday night, and then we're gonna have a show daily, maybe every Saturday, hopefully from now on.
That's right. Wednesday night, back watching the London Nationals, and this week they're playing the Kitchener Waterloo Siskins. So another great game as the Nationals look to get inch closer to the playoffs.
It's gonna be good, and it's gonna be good to see all you guys face there. And
all right,
Big John will be there again.
all right.
Take care, guys.
Yeah.
Come see us live. Come see us live at the Western Fair Sports Center Wednesday night, 7 p.m.
All
Take
right.
care, my friend.
See ya.
Have a good night, guys.
Bye.
And see you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your evening and a great rest of your weekend.